bright colours for the summer weather. I was always curious about these James Bond graphic novels by Dynamite Comics, and there's no better excuse to start reading them than having a Bond obsessed YouTube channel. I'm going to dive into this series while waiting for No Time to Die to come out. I need Bond stuff to consume, keep me sane. And because I'm late to the game on this, there's already loads of issues, so plenty of reading material. I've started at Vargr already. It's the first in the series. Also, a little note, the paper quality is really high. You know, comic book paper is probably like less than 100 GSM, so that's normal paper. But this just seems a little higher quality. Vargr is the first in the series. It's written by Warren Ellis from Iron Man Extremis. You might know him. That's probably his most famous, which was an Iron Man arc in the comic books that inspired the film series. You can see the similarities. I even remember pieces of dialogue were taken straight out and put in that film. And the illustrations are done by John Masters. Being a series, I assume the talent will change as it goes along. And so far, I like both the art and the writing in this series. I'm only a little bit in. When it comes to the art, there's a very clear, concise, vivid storytelling going on. There's an element of grit to it, but it's also easy on the eyes. Easy to take in, part of that language that we've come to expect from these stories. This being graphic novels, I mean. In relation to Ellis's writing, there's an interesting tone. It does feel like Extremis. However, there's also that feeling of an Ian Fleming continuation to this. But this does take place in modern day. However, it does feel like Ellis went, how would Fleming tell these stories in a more modern environment? A good example of this would be the Bentley Continental that Bond drives, which is a nice little homage to the fact that Bond drove Bentleys in Casino Royale, the novel. He does put in more humour than Fleming would, which leads me to believe it's somewhat inspired by the Bond film series, although not officially associated with it. It's safe to say though, when something is such a pop culture phenomenon as a James Bond film series, it's sort of impossible to adapt the character and separate it completely from those films that have occurred over the last nearly 60 years. It really is impossible to ignore the films and the influence they've had on how people perceive the character of James Bond. So far, so good. These are my first impressions of the James Bond comic series by Dynamite. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. And what I'll do is, every time I read one of these graphic novels, I'll do a review of that story. And that's it. If this is what you want to see me doing, along with all the other videos I'm making, shoot that like button. It's the most important thing for the channel. And I'll see you on Tuesday for a regular Bond video.